Good evening, everybody. This is Fight CPS with Mike Bartz. Sorry about my voice. I don't know why I'm losing it. I've got a cough drop in trying to get it to loosen up a little bit, but it just doesn't seem to be. But, anyways, this is Fight CPS with Mike Bartz. Of course, I'm Mike Bartz, and it's the tactics, traps, and tricks of CPS. I have a guest tonight, Miss Wendy Thomas. How you doing, Miss
Oh,
Thomas?
good. How are you? Hi, everybody.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what's going on.
Well, my name is Wendy Thomas. I'm 50 years old. I am a retired chef. I became disabled. I lost my knees from just always being a big woman, but like a tomboy. So I had to quit working and I went on disability. I was making a three-figure salary before I got sick. And then I went down into a poverty level and I had my girls. And when I went down to poverty level and came back home where my mother lives, is when I started having the problems. I had to go in for surgery. Excuse me, my allergies are acting up too. Pardon me.
Is that what's going on? Is allergies are kicking our butts?
I think it's the weather because it gets warm and then it gets cold and
Where are you located right now?
right now I'm in Michigan, but I'm this all happened in Ohio.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why Michiganians stay out of Ohio, by the way.
Yeah, I had to move into Michigan to get help.
Yeah, Michigan. I'm born and raised in Michigan, so we dislike Ohio a lot.
It is so corrupt in Ohio. It is absolutely ridiculous. And wait till you guys find out who I have contacted and what they have said to me. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But I got disabled because of my knees. I went in for knee replacement surgery. I have a compromised immune system. I didn't know that I did. They put a nickel knee in me. I got sepsis real bad. I ended up being in there 3 years. I was in a coma for 72 hours. I had four blood transfusions, three in 1 month, and I've had 18 surgeries.
My goodness.
Yeah, it almost killed me. And I managed to keep my leg, but I did lose my knee. My tibia and my femur are fused together on the left leg.
That
So,
makes for bad leg cramps, doesn't it?
well, I don't really have any problem with the leg that I lost the knee. It's the other one now that they can't operate on.
Are you taller now, though?
No, actually, I went from 5'4" to 5'2".
I'm so sorry about that.
That's that's okay. That's okay. I still get around. I'm right now I use a wheelchair for like long distance walking and long distance standing, but otherwise I don't use the wheelchair like I we camp all year round. So I don't use the wheelchair in the camper or anything and I can still drive and stuff like that. But
I,
my
I make
story,
I'm making fun of you, but actually, you're like a very impressive woman. I mean, I laid down and cried for 8 months because I had brain surgery. I mean, I couldn't imagine going through what you went through. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable. You're tough as nails, and applaud you.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't see no white light in my coma. The good Lord made me fight. He wanted to see how hard I wanted to stay in this world. And I'm telling you
So,
what, when I come out of it, I got right with the Lord real quick. Real quick. But while I was in the hospital, I had my children later in life. I had my oldest when I was 33, and then I had my youngest when I was 35. So the oldest is 17 now, and the youngest is 14. And I haven't had my children for almost 8 years now. I was in the hospital, and I didn't notice then, but now I notice my mom was slowly cutting off communication with me and my children. And my mother had control over all of my finances, not payees or anything like that, just to take care of things while I was in the hospital. And I was having a hard time getting her to let me communicate with my children. And when I come home finally, after I was in there for a full year, I come back to my mom's house. My children were sharing clothes. They were sharing shoes. They had the oldest phones was gone. The youngest tablet was gone. All my bills were not paid at the apartment I was living at. She let the apartment go. She let my family go in there and take everything I owned. When I ended up back in a place after I healed up, I had a lift chair, a 19-inch television, and a futon. And I came out of a $300,000 house into an apartment when I left.
You gotta
And
love family, don't you?
yeah, and I come home to my mom's house because I was, I laid in a bed for 3 years. I've got a lot of physical therapy that I got to do, a lot of muscle building I got to do. And I still had like intravenous antibiotics through PICC lines that they were doing inside my mom's home. And when I started to get up and get around more and started to go to the gym to do a little bit more of my physical therapy with the trainer, I noticed that my children started to pull away from me. And when I was coming home and then resting, because I still couldn't do too much because I had 2.5 foot rods in my leg all the way up into my butt cheeks. And they didn't really want me doing a whole lot because they didn't want the leg to break again. And my mom would come home, and if the dishes weren't done or the house wasn't clean, and pardon, I don't mean to be so vulgar on your channel, my mom started calling me a lazy and a whore and a slut in front of my kids. And I can't do the dishes or sweep the floor, or I still got nurses coming in to help take care of me. I really wasn't supposed to go out to the gym, but I'm stubborn and I didn't feel as if I was healing fast enough. And I've got 2 kids, and my youngest is disabled. I can't sit in this chair any longer. And I was out at physical therapy. She went to the court, or she went to children's services, and she told children's services that I was neglecting my children, that I was leaving for weeks on end, that I was going and sleeping with a bunch of different guys. Now, mind you, I was in the hospital for 3 years, laying in a bed, and I was only concentrating on getting myself healed up enough to get out of her home because there's a history. My mom and I have a very, very bad history together. And I knew if I didn't get out of the house fast enough that I was going to have problems. So when I was in physical therapy and trying to get an apartment while I was gone, my mom went to Children's Services. Children's Services went to Todd Gildy, who is the juvenile prosecutor in Fulton County in Wauseon, Ohio, told my mother, and this came out of my mother's mouth, told my mother how to have a court date behind my back and not tell me. They even had a subcontractor from the court go out and do a home visit. I still had custody of my children without my knowledge.
Wait, how could they do a home visit without your knowledge?
They did.
They came in your house without you knowing about it?
They came in my mother's house and had a
Oh,
home
your
visit
mother's
with
house.
my children.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, why? Because I lived with my mother
That's right. Yep.
while I was at physical therapy. Correct.
Okay.
So then I found out about the court date through a family member. I confronted my mother. She wouldn't tell me when the court date was. I even called the juvenile court in Wauseon in Fulton County, and they wouldn't tell me the court date. They told me to seek an advice of an attorney. So I panic. I'm new to all this. I do what I had to do to get up $1,500, and I get the attorney, and the only thing I can do is afford one in Wauseon, which everybody out in Wauseon, your judges, your cops, your attorneys are all Freemasons. And they all are close range. There's 3 Freemason lodges in Wauseon. There's 2 in Delta and 2 in Swanton, and the main one is in Defiance, Ohio. And they all are judges, police officers, attorneys, uh, and they all stick together. And I walked in there. I had to threaten Todd Gildy. Finally, Todd Gildy told me the court date. I paid the attorney. The attorney that I paid was friends with the judge, took my $1,500 and canceled as my attorney the day of court. And the judge still had the court date. Told me I didn't need an attorney. Wouldn't let me, didn't have none of my doctor records in there, anything like that. Well, the subcontractor that went in there and did the home visit is now up on charges with Children's Services in Columbus for theft, her and 5 other workers, for using COVID-19 funds and using it for false unemployment claims and collecting the money. I just proved that my children were taken for money. I went through the ombudsman and everything. The judge screamed and hollered at me in court. I stood my ground in court. He was threatening to throw me in jail because there's been absolutely no reason why them children should have ever been taken away from me. I've never even had a children's services case ever in my life. Like I said, I made a 3-figure salary before I lost my knee. And the judge that did it was the same judge who emancipated me at the age of 16 years old, away from my mother because of my mother's abuse.
Did you say a 3-figure salary?
I sure did. I made $120,000 a year.
That's a 6-figure,
Yeah,
not 3-figure. 3 figures is
6 figures.
$150.
No, 6 figures. Sorry.
No,
Well,
I was confused. I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm nervous. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You don't have to be nervous. Just you
Yeah,
and I talking.
I was working 2 jobs. I was working full time at Biaggi's out in Rossford. I was there ever since they broke ground. And I had my friend was dying from multiple sclerosis, and she wanted me to take care of her. So I worked through the state, and she lived with me. So I was making about $1,200, $1,300 a week, bring home. Yep.
Beautiful. But yeah, CPS, they don't care what kind of lifestyle you lead or live. It doesn't
They
matter if
didn't
you.
bother me. I had no problems when I had money.
Oh, really?
I only had the problems when I
When
got
you
sick
when you
and
got
went
sick, it was
down onto
broke.
Social Security.
Yeah.
Correct. And see, legal aid is supposed to help us. They are funded to help us, and they are not taking any cases for family court. And your tax dollars are paying for that, and they're using it and they're pocketing it.
Um. Now let me ask you this: Are you still fighting them?
I am. I have had no contact with my youngest since last May 16th, and I have not seen my 18-year-old in 3 years.
Why have you seen? He's 18. You should be able to see him whenever he
Or I
wants.
mean, my 17-year-old. I'm sorry, my 17-year-old. My 17-year-old will not speak to me. My mother put memories into my oldest daughter's head, that memories that me and her did together. My mother put her in the memories.
Don't you just love family? That's
And
precisely
let me
what.
tell you, I have 2 older stepsisters, and the oldest one left home. Lori left home at 17, and she's 5 years older than me, and she hasn't been home in 40 years. Pam left home at 13 and hasn't been home in maybe 25 years. The last time Pam come home is my dad's very ill from Agent Orange. He's a vet.
Wow.
So, because of my
I
mother's abuse.
Yeah, I haven't spoke to my family in what 25 years, 30 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
there was no protocol, no evidence, no reunification plan. I even called the ombudsman and Columbus. They're in on it. It's all for funding. It's all for funding.
well, yeah,
The
I mean
more,
that's CPS's number one thing. It's all about money.
yep, yep.
Let me ask you
The
this.
judges are in on it too, though. The juvenile judges are in on it too.
Oh, I agree. The judges, the court appointed attorneys, local attorneys.
Fulton County Judge Bum has done this to 125 poverty-stricken families.
Do you have an attorney now?
I did, But the attorney I hired did not tell me after, and I didn't find out till after he paid me that Todd Gildy was in his law firm, and I took a charge that I didn't deserve. What happened was, is the judge Abby refused, or I'm sorry, my youngest refused to go home on a visit because my mom was abusing her,
Right.
and the judge kept her with me temporarily to get everything in order. They forced me to keep her in Fulton County when I was in Lucas County. And Children's Services, I did let him in the house for the first time to approve the home because I live in a camper. So I was understandable about that. But when they come back to harass me, and my attorney told me not to let them in the house, they went back to Fulton County. Kevin Gladio, the head of the Fulton County Sheriff's Department, issued a warrant for interfering with custody, brought it over to Lucas County, and Lucas County came in my door without a warrant. To this day, I still have not seen a warrant, and took my child and put my child back into an abusive situation for money.
I'll just give me a second to say hi to some people that are just checking in with us. Player Mike, how you doing? Devonna Tucker, you're right. Fraud does not have statute. Fraud does have statute of limitations. I believe it's state by state. So you have to look at what state you're in.
It does not, because of the fact that it's constitutional law.
What's that?
Well, they broke our rights. I want you to get this advocate that's helping us. His name is Mr. Downing. He can spit everything out to you. It has to do with uh, we're putting a federal lawsuit against the federal government for breaking and violating our constitutional rights as
Oh,
parents.
they do it on a regular basis. Let me ask you this: have you got ADA involved?
ADA.
American Disabilities?
Nobody will help. See, you don't seem to understand something.
Well, no, because every time I've called the ADA, they stepped up. I mean, and all I
No,
had was brain
not
surgery. I call ADA today, and they will be standing here in my door within 24 hours.
anybody
What
that
about the
has if
ACLU?
not I can't get if you've got numbers to give me, I would love them, and we would love to take them if you've got contacts, because a lot of us are disabled. I would love them. We are stuck. We don't know what to do. We've got the clerk of courts at the Supreme Court not wanting to file our complaints. It's just, it has to do because the government is involved with the sex trafficking. Now you got Epstein's list coming out. We're finding out a lot more. Ohio is so bad. DeWine, he's friends with Biden and does whatever Biden wants to say. Marcy Kaptur is so brainwashed, we can't get her to do anything. I've even contacted Susan Rowe, and she's the head of the Children's Services Department, and with Marcy Kaptur, and nobody will do nothing. They all get money, and it's in a dangerous situation. Biden put out new legislation for all of us parents, but none of it's getting enforced. He told legal aid that they have to help us. They told legal aid that they have to do more civil suits. They told these attorneys that they have to help us, and they won't do it because they're all connected. And it's such a dangerous situation. We got senators that have gotten killed in the past over this. And it has to do with that adrenaline. And the kids are being sex trafficked at the border. They're being put in a van, and they're being traveled across the United States to their last do mine. This is what's going on with these kids. I've tried to call out to Jim Jordan. I even tried to call out to Senator Cruz because he's making such a big stink down there at the border.
Hold
Well,
on,
when the
hold on a
House
second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm here trying to help people come up with ways to help them and to give them indication on tricks and traps and tactics that CPS uses. I mean, and I'm not saying you're wrong, But trying to make this political on my show is not going to fly. I mean, it's just not
No,
going to
I'm
fly.
not trying to make it political. I'm trying to let you know who we have reached out to. We have reached out to, even like our attorney general. He won't do nothing in Ohio. I mean, I belong to groups, and I'm the head of Ohio Recruit for corrupt CPS and juvenile courts in Ohio. And I'm telling you, nobody will do nothing. And then DeWine gave medical uh, compliance to the Supreme Court, over parents. We are stuck in a lot of states
Are you
because
certified? Are you certified disabled?
yes, I am. I'm legally crippled.
You're legally crippled. And the
I
ADA
am.
tells you what?
That they don't get involved in them cases.
BS. ADA is always involved in every case. If it has anything to do with disability and you're being mistreated, then you're presenting it to them wrong.
I can't
And the
get the disability right.
ACLU,
Nope.
what do they say? And I know
They
they
tell
get
me the
involved.
same thing. They told me the same thing, not unless I'm not calling the right people. If you could email me the phone
No.
numbers, I would be glad
If
to.
you, I mean, you can look them up online and you call that number and they'll put you in touch with the right people. I mean, they are absolutely phenomenal for me and always have been for me. I can call them right now and talk to them anytime.
Do you know that there's CPS workers that are taking children out of homes and having them post up in their offices for money?
Like I said, I'm not trying to make this political. I'm trying to help parents that are fighting a cause. You know what I mean? It's a cause that's
We need to find a way.
one thing I know for sure. There's no way we're going to dismantle these people. There's no way we're going to get rid of DSS or CPS or DHS, DHHS. We're not going to get rid of them. There's too
But
many
you
hands.
can put you
Hold
can
on,
put
my show,
certified
my show, my
advocates.
show, my show.
I'm sorry.
But I can tell you right now, you're not going to get rid of them. There's too many hands in the pot. There's too big of a pot. There's too many political elbows being thrown. You're not going to get rid of these people. The only thing that me and people like me who have suffered the embarrassment, the indignity of dealing with these fools, these evil people, is to slow them down. That's the only thing we can do. And the only thing that I can do is spread the word on how to slow them down. Like last night, I mean, talking about Texas and the new mandatory verbal CPS Miranda rights that they came out with. These are things that need to be put out there. Making this a political elbow race? No, I'm not about that.
No.
I'm not joining no organization that's going to overrun or overturn the government. That's not my
Right.
gig.
No.
That's not my gig. My gig is to help people.
Correct.
I'm not, I mean, I could sit here and spout off all the statistics that would just make you gut wrench. From over 500,000 children a year are taken by CPS. I mean, I can look up numbers and give you per state what they're taking per state. And yes, I've heard the horror stories. I mean, here in North Carolina, you hear about these kids that are in foster care, and these are CPS ran foster cares, where these kids are tied out on the front porch with dog collars. I mean,
Yep.
yeah. So I can play those games too, and I can bring all the stories up. I don't need to. And you don't need to. Well, let me tell you why you don't need to, is because people know about them already. And people that are watching this show and that are trying to prepare for their life fighting with CPS, they know the stories. They know, but they don't want to be reminded that their children could possibly be doing this or this happening to their children.
I understand.
All they want to do is get their kids home. I mean,
Yes, we do.
that's all they want to do is get their kids home. Making this political, I mean, shove it in your ear. I don't care about making it political. It's not
Right.
my
No, I
thing.
was
I
right.
mean, the politicians, the how comes, the wherefores, and the name dropping. That's all fantastic. I mean, it really is, and good for you. But I'm telling you right now, I've never had the ADA, and I'm certified disabled. I've never had the ADA turn their back on me for anything. As soon as I called up there and I showed them and proved to them that I'm certified disabled and that I'm be discriminated against because I'm disabled, they're Johnny on the spot. The ACLU, I mean, yeah, I disagree with some of their politics, but oh my gosh, you call the ACLU and you tell them your story and that you're being mistreated and that your civil rights are being violated and you can prove it. Oh my God. ACLU is there with a team of lawyers. They will not let you stand alone. I promise you. These are good people. You just got to learn how to talk to them. You got to learn how to present yourself correctly. You got to, it's not, it's not a certain number that you got to call. It's not a certain person you got to contact. You just got to learn to talk to them. You got to learn to explain to them how you're disabled, and you got to learn how to prove to them that you're disabled. I mean, I'm not trying to rain on your parade, and I know you had a story to tell, but I'm here to tell you, and I understand it's frustrating, but all the name dropping you're doing and all, I mean, you throwing Biden in here, you're throwing Trump in here, you're throwing, I don't care about that stuff. That's not me. That's not what my show is about. My show is about how it can help, Mary Jane and Joe Blow down the street here stop for CPS taking their kids. That's what I'm about.
There is a way that we're not trying to overthrow the government. We're not trying to overthrow children's services.
But you're talking about all these organizations that you belong to and that you head up. That's great. That's phenomenal. Facebook. That's phenomenal.
All it is support groups for Facebook for other families that have been affected like I have. That's all they are. And we're trying to fight to get more rights with our children and make CPS do their job. That's all we're trying to do. And I really think that they need to put certified advocates into these courts.
See, I mean, you're trying to change the program. It ain't going to happen. All you can do is slow them down. All you can do is slow them down. You can't change a thing. I'm telling you.
If you would let me finish, so then it would be fair to the families, then the families would know their rights, because that's a lot of the problem.
How long have you been dealing with CPS?
I've been dealing with CPS since I got out of the hospital.
How long has that been?
7 years.
And have you had anything fair done yet?
No.
Well, then quit talking about being fair. Have you had anything right done? I mean, versus wrong? Have you had anything right done? Well, then quit trying to be right. You see what I'm saying? You're fighting the wrong fight. You're trying to be right, and you're trying to prove something that you don't have to prove. You're trying to change things that, I mean, they don't care about it. They get to hide behind the guise of an anonymity. This is about children, so we can't share shit with you. Get out of our face.
Right.
Every news agency in the world has attempted to break the veil of CPS or DHS, and have all failed because they all fall under the guise of children, and they fall under the protection of and the veil of, we're not allowed to share because it has to do with children. And so they're protected. You're not going to change squat. You're not going to get anybody in there. You're not going to get advocates for. Why don't you just organize and just start marching on every CPS office?
The problem is we can't. A lot of the problem we have is we have a lot of the families and a lot of the mothers that are screaming, help, 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 but we can't get nobody to step up. That's the problem.
Oh, there's plenty of people that'll step up. You just got to learn how to do it right and when to do it. I mean, I lost my daughter. My wife and I lost my daughter, and that's the midget sitting right there and right up there. That's the midget.
Yeah.
We lost our daughter, but I tell you what, and if it wasn't for me contacting Mr. Davis's show, who I represent here at Fighting CPS, and just watching the videos and just watching the shows and picking up on little things, we would have never got her back. We wouldn't have. But it was just a matter of knowing where to look, knowing where to turn.
Right.
But what you're talking about here today isn't helping anybody. You want advocates. You want to talk about advocates. You want to talk about Joe Biden. You want to talk about it's unfair. Of course it's unfair. They take our damn children away from us.
Right.
It's unfair as the day is long. You're going to try to fight unfair with fair?
No, you can't.
Yes, you are. You're trying to be fair, and you can't be fair.
That's the only thing we got, though. That's the
No,
only
you
thing
don't.
we got.
That's not the only thing
What
you
else
got.
do we have?
Just play their game.
A lot of the games they don't play. I can't even get court records out of my court. And when I go in there,
Then
they
you're doing
charge
it
me
wrong
$3
because
a
then
paper.
you're doing it wrong.
No, it's the court.
Okay. I can't argue your court case for you. I'm not going to. I don't know your particular case. I mean, I just know that there's federal laws that protect you as a parent. There's federal laws that require them to give you everything they have. There's federal laws to disclose everything to you. The things that parents have to quit doing, and a lot of people, and I see a lot of people doing it, is they're fighting the wrong fight. They've been fighting CPS now going on 13 months, 14 months, and they're still trying to talk about, well, they came in and took my kids out of my house illegally.
Yeah.
That's over and done with. You can't fight that no more. It's done. That's move on. You're in the final phases of your case. They're fixing the TPR your ass. So that's what you need to be fighting. That's what you need to be paying attention to.
You can't fight it without. How else do we fight it?
What do you mean? How else you fight it? You fight it their way. You fight with their rules.
They're not doing nothing. Nothing. They won't even talk to me on the phone. They won't help me with seeing my children. They won't help me with no reunification.
How many state representatives of DHS have you spoke to, or CPS?
All of them.
No. Now how many?
Dave Marin.
I don't know names. You're going to have to give me numbers here. Have you talked to?
Numbers?
No. Have you talked to headquarters of CPS in your state?
Yes. Yep.
How many people?
I have talked to. Well, you have to talk to the ombudsman department before you go any further in Columbus with Ohio.
How many people have you spoke to personally?
I have dealt with.
Not your local DSS, or not your local CPS, but your state CPS.
Yeah, that would be Columbus.
Okay, how many of those people have you spoke to? Number 30 people, 40 people?
Nope, you only work with a certain amount of people in there. I've worked with 2 of them. I have their email on my cell phone that I've communicated back and forth with. And then when I did retain an attorney for the interfering with custody charge, they completely went silent. I heard crickets. I couldn't get nobody to call me back. I couldn't get nobody to follow protocol. I couldn't even get the attorney to call them to follow the protocol.
Okay, well, let me give you a little example here in North Carolina. My very first visit with my daughter was supervised visitation. It was a 2-hour visitation. My very first visit. I went, and my daughter, I'm 60 years old, so I'm sorry. I mean, I'm older than you, but being 60 years old with a 2-year-old child, do the math, I screwed up. But anyways, I went to change her diaper, and there was a thumbprint right next to her vajayjay. I mean, a deep, embedded, bruised thumbprint right next to her vajayjay. All right. And if you think I stopped at 1 or 2 people at the state level, you're insane. Why? Because I'm a father, because I'm the protector, and I wasn't there to protect my daughter, and she got hurt. So if you think I sat there and just talked to 2 people and let them tell me I only have 2 people to talk to, you're insane, because I went around the state. I am not joking.
Okay. First of all, I understand that this is your show. Okay. But don't try to humiliate me.
I'm not trying to humiliate anybody. I'm trying to get you to understand that you don't stop at 1 or 2 people.
You told me, and you told me not to throw names out there. I've told you who I've talked to. I have been through the Supreme Court.
Don't stop at 2 people.
I have
Because
taken
the
this to
state's
them.
there to help
I
you.
have it. I have it. I have it. I have it. You don't seem to understand. They only let you go so far. And then nobody speaks to you. I sold my wheelchair ramp to help my daughters.
I'm not
So
saying you're
don't
not
you
suffering.
sit
I know
there
you're
and
suffering.
say
I know you're
that
suffering.
I
I can
haven't
tell you
done
suffering.
enough.
I can tell you suffering.
My
I can
mother
tell you
is sitting
suffering.
over there and,
I can
and
tell
has
you
an
you
insurance
suffering.
policy
I
on
can
my
tell you're
disabled
suffering.
daughter.
I can tell you're suffering.
It has bought a grave plot.
I can tell you
And this is
suffering.
all over my mother's own financial gain. And CPS's financial gain. I have moved out of my home state into another state because the attorney general here is whooping ass on CPS. I uprooted myself.
That's
So
what you're supposed to
don't
do.
you dare tell
No,
me
that's what you're
that
supposed to
I
do.
have not done enough. I have a limited income. And for 7 years, I have done nothing but get on the phone and scream at everybody. These judges aren't letting us file to get these stuff into court when it's a state law that they're supposed to let us file a waiver. We go in there to get copies of our cases, and they're taking each piece of paper and jacking it up to $3 or $4 a piece of paper, so we can't afford to get it. Legal aid won't help us, and where in the heck are we going to get $6,000 to $12,000 since the economy rose and COVID hit to get just a retainer fee to get help?
You're not going to.
And you're going to sit there and tell us families that we aren't doing enough?
No, I'm telling you that you're doing too much name dropping. You need to stop.
I don't care. I wasn't trying to get anything political. I was trying to let you and your people know who I have contacted. It doesn't do us any good to contact senators. It doesn't do us any good to contact governors. It doesn't do us any good to contact state representatives. You want to see the text messages
That's
from
why
the
I told you
mayor
to get a
of
hold of the
Swanton?
ADA. That's why I told you to get
Oh,
a
I
hold of the
have the
ADA.
IOG and everything involved. And you want to know what? The city won't follow it.
You're
The
disabled.
city told me that they were not going to investigate my mother because he did not like my reputation in the town. When I was promised a professional investigation by the mayor of the town,
You're disabled.
I had a letter from the IOG. My mother has stolen $175,000 in my Social Security, and the city was supposed to investigate it with the letter from the IOG that I was supposed to take to the police department, and they didn't do anything.
Wendy, I know you're suffering. I can see it in your eyes. I can hear it in your voice.
I have a daughter that at any given time gets a COVID shot because of her cerebral inconsistencies. She's going to die. My mother has bought $1 million insurance policy and a grave plot for only one child, and it's that child. And that came right out of her mouth.
Wendy,
And I can't get
I
nobody
can
to
hear
do
it in your
anything.
voice. I know you're suffering. I know you're suffering. And I'm trying to help you. And I'm trying to get
We
you off.
don't know what to do. We have exhausted everything. If you can help us, fine. You got my email address. Email me the numbers. But please do not sit there and tell us parents that we have not done enough for our children. We
I'm telling
uproot
you, I'm
ourselves.
telling
We
you,
go
I'm telling
homeless.
you that ADA and the ACLU are there for you. If you
We'll
do it
see.
right, if you do it
We'll
right,
see.
they're there
We'll
for
see.
you. Oh, I
We'll
know
see.
there is no, we'll see about it. I
Okay,
can call them right today and they show up at
just
my
like
house.
the Disability Rights Commission in Northwestern Ohio is supposed to help too, right?
What now?
Right? Isn't the Disability Commission of Northwest Ohio, because I'm an Ohio
I
citizen,
don't know anything
aren't they
about the
supposed to help?
Disability Commission of Ohio. I don't live in
Oh
Ohio.
yeah.
I don't go to
Oh
Ohio.
yeah.
I drive around Ohio. I'll go into Canada before I go to Ohio to get to Michigan.
It's the farming communities that are bad. It's not fair.
Oh, I agree. It's not fair at all.
You're gonna take them out of good homes and put them in homes with people who have money but are sexually abusing them, physically abusing them, mentally abusing them, and financially abusing them.
I
I don't
agree.
get it.
I mean, my daughter was, it was substantiated, and I was just trying to tell you my story. And what I had to do was I got blocked every time I turned around.
That's what
So,
I'm doing.
so
Every
you know what
time
I did? So you know what I did? I said, all right, fine. Block me here, block me there. Have fun with that. Enjoy yourself. So I went to the county next to my county and I reported it there. I made an appointment with the investigators there and I reported it there. Once I got that reported, and once they wrote it down and once they looked at it, something had to be done. And the next thing I know, I'm being notified that my daughter's being moved. Did I get my daughter back? Yeah, eventually. But at least my daughter was out of that home where she was being abused or
My
neglected.
main concern is, yeah, Annie is, or my oldest is going to be 18. So
But
my
I
main
didn't, but
concern
what
is
I
my
was trying to
disabled
tell you
child.
was I didn't stop. I didn't stop at
We
one
were
or two.
not.
I'm trying to tell you what I did to give you an idea of what I can do to help you. I went to the county next to my county. I didn't go to the state and just make a phone call and drop the ball. I got out of, I mean, I got out and I went and I cornered a DSS worker from a different county. I said, I need to make a report. What do I do? And this lady said, come with me. And I went up to her office and I did a formal report with her. And next thing I know, I'm meeting with the director of investigations for that county. And it kicked off the county. It kicked off an investigation in my county.
Was that Michigan or in North
No, it's North
Carolina?
Carolina. That's in North Carolina. And I understand you went from Ohio to Michigan and you can't get back to Ohio as easy as I can walk across the street to get to a different county. I understand that. But what I'm trying to show you and what I'm trying to tell you is you just don't, you got to find a different avenue. When you run and you butt your head up against a wall so many times, guess what? It's time to stop butting your head up against that wall. Find a different wall to butt your head up against. You know what I mean? You might find a softer wall. Hell, this right here would hurt if I keep hitting my head against it. But I tell you what, I could go up against that in a heartbeat. You see what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to describe to you. I wasn't trying to say that you weren't doing enough. I'm just telling you, change your damn tactics.
Well, what about the families who aren't disabled, though? How fair is that?
Oh, that's another point I've been trying to get across to you. There's nothing fair about this at all, Wendy. There's zero fair. Quit trying to be fair. Quit trying to be honest. Quit trying to tell the truth because they don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
They're going to use it against you.
Yeah, they
Am
make
I
us
right
look
or am
like
I
we're
wrong,
crazy.
Wendy?
No, you're
Am I
right.
right or
They
am I
make us
wrong?
look like you're right.
All
You're
right.
They make us
So
look like we're crazy.
Quit talking to these fools. Quit participating in their little games. Fight their games with their own games. Fight their battles with their battles. And that's what my wife and I did. We flipped it on them. We said, okay, you're going to play your games with me. You know what? I got games for you.
Can you email me the numbers?
To what?
Would you say
88,
that?
80, 88,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'll send them to you.
Thank you very much. That
Oh,
way,
you're welcome.
at least
But
I can.
you gotta think outside the box. We're talking about your children here.
Yeah.
You know, if
and
you stay in this box, Wendy, you stay in that box, then you're going to be in that box. They're going to keep you in that box. All right. You got to think like a grizzly bear protecting their cubs. I mean, you got to think like that. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You know,
believe
and if
me,
you,
that's what I feel like.
and no offense, but your job as a mom and
Yep.
dad's job as a dad, I was willing. I mean, I got tased. I've got video footage of me being tased because I wanted to kiss my daughter my daughter goodbye.
Yep.
And that's my job. My job is to die for my children. Your job is
We've
to
been
die
there.
for your children.
Yep.
Okay. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what we do. But how do we do
Yep.
that? Do we die for no reason at all? Or do we die fighting? Do we die coming up with different ways to make it work? Come out of the box,
Yeah.
woman. Come out of the box.
The girl's stepdad, my fiance, got tased trying to save Abby. Get to keep him from taking her back to my mom. He got
But
tased 4 times. I got throat choked. It was bad. We fought the cops.
I mean, I'm a physical fighter. I'm 6'7",
So am
350
I.
pounds. I
Yeah,
mean,
when
I'll
I
throw
was
down in a heartbeat. I'm an old bar
so will
fighter.
I.
I'm
Oh
an old
yeah, I'm the
bar
same
fighter.
way. Yep.
No, I
I
will fight in a heartbeat. I don't give a shit either. You know, I
I
mean,
do too. Yeah,
it doesn't matter to me in a lick. I mean,
I've got
it's,
a couple of disorderly conducts and domestics on my record too. I'm
I
that
mean,
type. I'm a military child. I was taught to stand for what's right.
but yeah,
And that's what I
but
do.
what I was trying to get across to you, I wasn't trying to degrade you or disrespect you. I was trying to get you to realize that staying inside that box, you're gonna run up against a wall every time because
I
that
know,
box
but
is small.
what you need to understand though too, what was easy, what wait, I shouldn't say easy. The way that you found is not always the way for other families,
No,
you
but
know?
it's an idea. The idea is out there. It means don't stop. Find different ways
Yeah.
to make this shit work.
I've been doing everything. I've pulled
Have
all
you
the
gone?
Ohio people.
Have you gone and talked to the county next to the county that started this program? I mean,
Lucas County.
it's just an idea. You know what I mean? Have you spoke to?
Lucas County's been in trouble for child trafficking
Have you
situations.
talked to the federal level? I mean, have you talked to the federal
That's what
DHHS department is?
Mr. Downing is the one that does all the political part of it. So I don't know who he has and hasn't talked to. I do know that he did talk to us the other day, and what
Did
he
you know
got
you can
offered,
report to the inspector general?
they won't. Yeah, we already tried. They won't even do nothing.
Oh, bullshit. They have
No,
to.
I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you.
You're so full of
They,
crap.
we've called the DOJ. We have we have called uh, uh, the state representative. That's why I said you told me not to get political. I was telling you all who we have called. We have called everybody, and they
And you're
all
telling
know
me
what's
no,
going on.
then you're fighting the wrong fight. Then you're telling them the wrong part of the story.
No,
Because
it's all for funding.
these people are, oh, I agree. I agree it's 100% about money. But I
Yep,
tell you what, the one thing they hate is attention. One thing they
and that's
hate,
what we're doing.
one thing they hate is a squeaky wheel.
Yep.
Well, you got to
I
learn to
got ran
squeak
out.
right. No, you got to learn
I
to
got
squeak
ran
right.
out of. I'm telling you, I got ran out of Fulton County. I got ran out of Fulton County because of everybody that I busted and got records to, and what they did, and what they did with these kids when they did this to me, because I wasn't going to have it. I told these people if I was a drug addict, or I was in and out of jail, or if I had men coming in and out of my house, yeah, I would own it. I was in the hospital for 3 years fighting for my life. You are not going to do this to me. I will get my kids back till every breath in my body is gone. I got ran out of my hometown. The courts and everybody are in on it. They won't do nothing. I can show you so
Well, I
many
mean,
things
if
if you
they
want
won't
me
do
to
nothing,
email
if
you.
they won't do nothing, and I can't tell you anything that you haven't tried, then there's nothing I can help you with.
The only thing we got to do is keep giving them attention because we're starting to be heard. And now
No, you're
that we're
not.
starting to be
No, you're
heard,
not. No, you're not.
things are starting to come out.
No, you're not. I'm not being heard. You're not being heard. We're not being heard.
Not enough, but we are starting to.
We're not.
We are
We.
starting to.
They're still adding people to. They're still adding people to the
Yeah.
damn staff. I mean, they're still adding people to the department. So we're not slowing them down. We're not. We're not touching this. We're not even. We're not even a ripple in the water.
No, and they target us because the poverty stricken people and the people who are on disability, because legal aid isn't doing what they're supposed to do, and they don't know. They, like I said, we don't have the $10,000, $12,000. I have been through every attorney in Lucas County, Defiance County. I've gone out into Michigan that can practice in Ohio. They won't. 12. It's what is it? It goes six. The lowest I was quoted was six, and the highest I was quoted was 12.
All right. Well, there, I mean, I feel your frustration. I hear and I see it. I don't know how to help you. I'll send you those email addresses or those addresses, phone numbers, but that's all I can do for you. I can't, I mean, you've done everything. You've been rejected every way I would recommend. I mean, I can't give you anything else. I mean, that's all I've got. I don't know why these people aren't coming to your rescue. I don't know why they're not stepping up and defending you and helping
Nope.
you. But that's between you and them, because it's none of my business. But anyways, I'm gonna call the show a done deal. Grace, can you shut us
Thank you
down?
for having me. Thank you. Thank you.